everybody, and welcome to the High Path Kitchen. We are a whole food plant-based family of 7, and today we are going to make some really simple and delicious home-cooked meals. We're here to showcase some of them, and we're here to just show you how easy it is to eat plant-based and whole food. Today is going to be pretty relaxed. I just have some brown rice that I'm starting. It takes a little bit longer for it to cook, so I like to get it started as soon as I can. For breakfast, we are starting off with some papayas. I grew up eating them in a Southeast Asian family, and I love all things papaya, eating the fruit, making it as a papaya milk. So good. Today I'm chopping these up for Trey for his breakfast. Let us know in the comments if you are a fan of papaya or if you just really don't like it. I know it's kind of an acquired taste, but we really like it here. Starting your day with fruit is actually the perfect way to start your day. It's light, it's actually filling, and it's actually quite easy. When you cut open this papaya, you can see that there's a ton of seeds in there. Don't throw them all away. You can actually consume bits of it, and it's actually great for digestion. It's good for your kidneys, and it's also got some really good anti-parasitic properties. You can freeze them and put them in smoothies if you like, or you can just eat them just as is. It has a little bit of a spicy, horseradishy taste to it. When choosing papayas, you want to make sure that the outsides are kind of yellowing. That's when you know that the papaya is ripe. Now, I've tried organic papayas versus regular papayas, and definitely go with the organic if you can. The non-organic is a little bit bitter, so just keep that in mind. The way I like to prepare papayas is I like to just take my knife and take the skin off outside, cut it in half, get the seeds out, and then just chop it in little pieces like this. I chopped both of these papayas up, and Trey could easily eat both of them for breakfast. All those of you who watched our previous video where I said I ravaged the fridge, thank you guys so much for correcting me. So today I scavenged this fridge for all of the ingredients for something easy I can make for lunch today. Oops, that mango did not belong. Now these ingredients look like it was the perfect ingredients for a pot of vegetable curry. I love making curry. It is one of our favorites in our household. The kids devour any curries that I make. And while I'm chopping up vegetables, I figured it would be a great idea to start another pot of something that I can make for my husband, Trey, as well. I love to multitask because I can then make more out of the time that I have. It's just good time management, I would say. So in my curry pot, I have some cabbage going in and just some usual suspects of aromatics like onions, carrots. I also add some bell peppers and mushrooms. We're gonna saute this up. Now the cabbage really adds some sweetness, and then in the background I have a pot with this kind of the same ingredients, some onions, carrots, and bell peppers. I'm gonna season both pots with some curry flavors like coriander, cumin, curry powder, maybe some fennel seeds. In the back, I wanted to make sort of a cauliflower, potato, and cabbage curry. And in the front, I am adding some beans to it. I'm using some drained and rinsed cannellini beans, and then I'm also gonna hand tear a few blocks of tofu in here. For a little bit of that acidity, I'm putting 2 cans of diced tomatoes. I like to use diced tomatoes just for that color and that extra acidity and a little bit of sweetness as well. I'm finishing the curry with some coconut milk. This is full fat coconut milk. We love the creamy textures of a full-fat coconut milk. And then I'm gonna add this discounted bag of, well, half a bag of this like broccoli slaw that I got. Why not just add some extra vegetables wherever I can? And this just cooks down really easily. For a little bit of sweetness, I'm gonna add a little bit of agave, and I'm gonna let this simmer for about 5-10 minutes just until it is nice and done. The other pot of curry is also simmering away. I completely forgot to use my garlic, and then I have some leftover beans. Right when I was about to get ready to bake something sweet for the day, the kids came in, so let me just check on the curry. It's been probably simmering for about 15 minutes now on about low, and it's nice and done. So we're going to get our rice fluffed up, get the kids fed, and then we'll continue on baking later on. So let's just all have lunch. For every plate, I am plating up some brown rice and of course just some of that curry on the side. This was my lovely bowl. I added some cayenne pepper. I love a spicy curry. This day was actually a really nice laid back day. I didn't have to rush anywhere, so I'm just slowly enjoying my plate of curry and rice. Honestly, you can't go wrong with a nice steaming bowl of rice and some delicious spicy curry. This plate was actually really filling. It was creamy. It was legitimately really good. A tip for making curry is don't be afraid to season up your curries, because the more seasonings, the better it's actually going to taste. So adjust to your taste buds and just don't be afraid to season. Alrighty, we hope that you enjoyed our little halftime show by Trey. Let's get back to cooking. Now remember, I was preparing to make something sweet, so I'm just going to freehand sort of a chocolatey, I was in the mood for some chocolatey, like double chocolate muffins. So I'm starting off with about almost 2 cups of applesauce here. I'm trying to scrape whatever I can out of this little bottle here. Of course, there's always extras for some snacking, so I'm just gonna finish this bottle off. If you are a no oil user, applesauce or like mashed bananas is a great substitute. So this muffin is going to be a no oil recipe. We have some coconut sugar going in. We have about maybe a cup and a half, a cup and 3/4. Then I'm going to put 3 or 4 flax eggs here, which is basically 3 tablespoons of flax to 6 tablespoons of water. The flax eggs is a great egg substitute. Really, the eggs just help hold everything together, so I like to use flax eggs. You can also use chia seeds as well. I'm going to add about half a cup of cocoa powder. This is just organic raw cocoa powder. I was contemplating adding a little bit more cocoa powder, but when I was mixing it, it looked like it was just enough. We are adding some vanilla extract to this. You can use any extract. Some peppermint would be nice. Chocolate and mint is always a great combination. I'm going to add about 2 bloops, which is basically my 2 tablespoons worth of vinegar. And then I'm adding about a half a cup of creamy coconut milk. You can use water, you can use plant milk, anything will do. Onto my flour of choice, we're using about 1 cup of oat flour, which we've milled ourselves. We just basically blended some rolled oats in our Blendtec blender until it's nice and fine. Actually, I added about 2 cups of home milled oat flour, and then I'm also going to add some almond flour as well. Since I am freehanding this, I'm kind of just adding as much oat flour and almond flour as needed to make a cakey consistency. I'm also going to add some baking soda just for some rise. With that vinegar, it really does help activate and it just helps the muffin rise. When I am freehanding a muffin or like a cake, I'm really just looking for a thick pancakey type of consistency. So I'm experimenting with this batter, of course, as you can see. Once the first batch of almond flour has been mixed in, it looks like it's pretty wet. So I'm gonna add 1 more cup of almond flour. We're gonna mix it in. Check out the consistency. It's still a little bit wet, so I'm adding 1 more cup, a total of 3 cups of almond flour. As I'm mixing this, it definitely looks like it's gotten a little bit thicker, so I am pretty happy with the consistency. I am measuring these chocolate chips with my heart, so I'm going to add however much I think is needed for this batter. Looks like I needed some more, obviously, so let's just put in some more. I actually wanted some crunchies in this batter as well, so I am going to first snack on a piece of walnut, and then I'm going to hand break a few handfuls of walnuts just to add some extra texture in our muffins. Looks like I wanted some more chocolate chips, so I'm just adding a little bit more. We're filling these little muffin tins up about all the way full, I'd say. And we're going to bake this at 375 degrees for about 30-35 minutes or so. Now it's time for Trey to have his lunch. And as you can see, Trey found a fork that was pretty messed up, just like a lot of our utensils and things around this house. It is always something. If you have a large family, you know what I mean. For lunch, I cooked Trey some curry with cauliflower, potatoes, some peppers, and some cabbage. It's nice and sweet, a little bit spicy. He's tasting it. He's thinking about it. And he approves. Check out our muffins. They have risen a little bit. I'm just going to do a chopstick test. Usually you're supposed to use a toothpick. We're just gonna pretend this is a toothpick, a very thick toothpick. I put the chopstick in. It looks like it needed a little bit more time, so I'm just gonna put it in. At this point, I only baked it for about 30 minutes or so, so it definitely needs that extra 5-10 minutes or so in the oven. Once the muffins are done, we're going to put them on a cooling rack to cool completely just before we taste test them. While I was waiting for our muffins, Trey decided to make some quinoa crackers. You can see our chocolate muffins have definitely risen a little bit. Now look at the texture. It peeled the paper away really nicely. Once it has been cooled completely, we are going to give this a try. I thought it was really good. The textures are really nice as well and nice and soft. I could have definitely added a teeny bit more sugar inside of it. It just needed to be a little bit sweeter to curb my sweet tooth. Back to the crackers that Trey's making. We're roasting some seeds here. We've got some sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, whatever seeds that you like to use. We also have some blended quinoa here. We're going to mix all of the seeds into our quinoa, season it really well, and mix it all up until it's nice and incorporated. We are going to bake these in the oven, so we're just going to spoon each little cracker onto our baking sheets, and then using a spoon, we're just going to flatten it out into a little thin circular shape. We are baking these in a hot oven until it is nice and done. And there you have it, our delicious crackers. They are so good, literally.
Addiction warning. They're highly addictive.
We really hope that you enjoyed hanging out with us in the kitchen today. If you're new, we would love for you to subscribe so you can hang out on our future videos. Bye everybody.